Well, hello, happy Monday, good evening, and welcome to the Mid-Ohio Sports Course Centre for the Next Gen Racing PowerMax Racing WTCR Season 19 on Raceroom. We're here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the Merrill County of Lexington, Ohio, state of United States of America. Mid-Ohio Sports Centre is 83 miles southwest of Cleveland and 60 miles north of Columbus, and we're on the full course layout today, as you can see here. 2.3 miles, 3.6 kilometres, and it costs just £3.59 to buy on Raceroom, in case you were interested in purchasing the track after today. There are 13 turns on this track, 8 to the right and 5 to the left, and hosted over the years, Mid-Ohio's hosted many of IndyCar races, has in fact been hosting IndyCar since 1980, even throughout its hiatus of branding as the CART series, kart series. It's hosted IMSA many times over the years and the NASCAR Xfinity series whenever NASCAR has taken its fair share of circuit racing as opposed to the regular ovals. So here we are, Mid-Ohio. The drivers of the Next Gen Racing PowerMax Racing Season 19 Raceroom League are out on practice at the moment with just 2.5 minutes remaining. 16 drivers in server at the moment. More to turn up later, maybe, not sure, we'll have to see. But we've got 3 races in store for you tonight. First of all, after this practice session, we'll have qualifying of 15 minutes. Then we'll have 2 15-minute races, and the final race of the evening is an 18-minute race. The grid for race 1 is decided via qualifying. The grid for race 2 is decided based on a reverse of 8 positions from the race 1 results, and race 3 grid is decided on the race 2 results based on reverse 15. We have in store for you WTCR, and there's 7 cars available in the WTCR pack, which you can purchase now on Raceroom for just over £10. That's for the entire pack, and each car is worth at around £3.50. We'll see all of these cars out there except for the Alfa Romeo, I think. Poor Alfa. But we are seeing a Lynk & Co return. The Lynk & Co based off the Volvo S60, I think. Oh, I might be wrong about that, but never mind. Yeah, 6 of the 7 cars on there we'll see out there today. Justin Welbeck is actually fastest in the session in the Lynk. The Lynk is probably more preferable around here due to all the bumps and curbs. But this is how the season is looking in terms of the calendar. This is round 7 at Mid-Ohio. We have been to Portimao for the opener. Brands Hatch Indy for round 2. Round 3 was in America, like today, at the Road America course. Round 4 was in Zolder. Round 5 for the Autodrome Moss Circuit. We sadly missed that for the broadcast. 2 weeks break, and then we were back last week for the dramatic yet exciting Scandinavian Raceway round of round 6, and now round 7. But next week we're off to China for the Ningbo Circuit, a circuit I'm completely unfamiliar with, so it'll be interesting to see how the drivers get on there, because they'll be unfamiliar with it too. It's a fairly new Raceroom track. The week after that is the penultimate round of the season, the Aragon Circuit in Spain, and round 10 will be the Spa-Francorchamps Circuit to finish it all off. But how is the championship looking thus far? Well, this is the top 10 in the standings. Qualifying's about to start, so we'll get through this fairly swiftly. So these are the drivers who will be carrying ballast as well today. So it'll go 60 and -6 each time for each of the drivers on this list here, you can see. But Ben Walker is the championship leader at the moment. Still, after Anderstorp, Lee Horne is second with a win in race 1 and a podium in race 3. Zhirayr Gurunyan had a terrible round last time out. The DNF on race 1 there was due to a jump start, and it was a pretty convincing jump start as well. But William Full follows not far behind Zhirayr in 4th place. 5th goes to Fraser Rostnitz, who's getting better and better as the season goes by. Jeff Perkins in 6th, with Jamie Dory, who's missed a few rounds, got his debut win of the season. The defending champion is there in 7th. Arnaldo Guedes is in 8th. 9th is Jonas Lienberg, and 10th is Arnaud Chenonnier. So the drivers are out on the track right now, warming up for qualifying. And we're looking here at the only Lincoln co-driver out there who was quickest in practice. A welcome back as well to Justin Welbeck there in the link. Justin's been off for some time recovering from COVID-19, so good to see him back. Glad he's recovered, and recovered well by the sounds of it. The Exiled Racing admin and driver. He hosts Assetto Corsa Leagues and Assetto Corsa Competizione Leagues over on Exiled Virtual Motorsports, so do check them out, as well as Nxtgen Racing, as well as Crest Autosport. A little bit of a plug for Crest Autosport now while we're on the subject. We also host Raceroom Leagues, hosted tomorrow, every Tuesday night. Tomorrow we have got the DTM 2020 cars at Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit. So Justin Welbeck, he's heating up his tyres just a little bit more before he gets to his flying lap, holding up the cars behind just a little bit there. Might be Lee Horne right behind him. It's not actually. they're all in similar liveries, so it's pretty hard to tell. I think that's Jeff Perkins actually behind him. But Justin Welbeck will come across the line to start the lap, and we'll go on board with him into turn 1, the left-hander. Here, long left-hander in 3rd or 4th gear. Just a little nibble of the grass on the way out, then a long run up the straight. We're skipping the chicane, but we're going to a long 180-degree right-hander known as the keyhole. This is turn 2, and Justin Welbeck goes really wide there. He'll have to recover and try and do another lap next time by, but he'll carry on nonetheless down the straight, which is referred to as the rolling start line, which is just on the left there, that Honda sign. This is where rolling starts would start in real life. That was turn 3, the kink we just went through there at the 200-meter sign, or the 200 feet sign. Turn 4, Justin understeering a lot going into turn 4 there. Turn 5 is really demanding on the tyres, this track, and very bumpy, so it's quite difficult for the shorter wheelbase cars such as the Volkswagen and the Hyundai, but the Link is just smoothly going through these S's here. Round turn 8 and turn 9, you can make this all one turn. Big steep curb on the outside there as Justin now comes through Thunder Valley and into turn 11. Sharp left-hander. Don't let the back end step out too much. Nice and clean through there. It's a shame that the keyhole wasn't a very good corner, because the rest of this lap is pretty good as we go around the carousel. A very, very long 180 plus degree corner. And round turn 13 to start a new lap now. Justin Welbeck, that's a lap of Mid-Ohio. And he goes second, even though he went wide at the keyhole. Pretty impressive from Justin. He's got plenty more in the tank, clearly. And we're watching Rory Plummer come across the line. He slots into 9th place there in the Volkswagen Golf. He's in the number 25 Golf, as is William Foyle, so we have to be careful not to confuse these. Zhirayr Gurunyan has done a purple first sector, so improving on his earlier times. Zhirayr has got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He had a bad outing at Anderstorp, so he has got to make up for it this time as he's fallen to 3rd in the championship. But so far so good, as he might be taken on as pole position. He's got Justin Welbeck to battle in this one. To get there, Fraser Roston's also did a good time in practice. He's one to look out for later as well. Purple sector in sector 2 for Zhirayr Gurunyan as he comes through sector 3. Nice big cut on Thunder Valley curve there. Now around the carousel, one of the most difficult corners in America, let alone on this circuit. You've got to have an early apex and then a late apex. It's the ideal line in these cars as they're front wheel driving across the line. Purple sector yet again. That'll improve Zhirayr Gurunyan's time by about 0.3 of a second. Lee Horne has just gone into second, well now 3rd, as William Foyle takes 2nd place. This is Justin Welbeck, who's held up by traffic. Even though he's got purple sectors, this is going to ruin his lap potentially. We'll see how he gets on. Yep, it did cost him a lot, but nonetheless he slots into 2nd place, less than a 10th behind. You've got to think that Justin is highly potential for pole position in this race. And this is Ben Walker, our championship leader, the VLX esports driver in the Hyundai. 6th place, half a second off the pace at the moment. He's green splits, and look at that Hyundai's rear end step out there. As I said earlier, the shorter wheelbase cars struggle on this circuit. That's why the Link and the Audi, in actual fact, do pretty well around here. And Ben Walker improved his time, but not his position. 4/10 off the leader, 6th place. But this is Neil Crave, who's had a purple first sector. Brilliant first sector from the Cooper driver of Neil Crave. Says Private T's actually a next-gen driver, I believe. Now coming through Sector 2. This is one of my favourite corners on Raceroom. Just one long right-hander, you can make it. A little nibble of the outer curb there. Through Thunder Valley he goes. Green second sector. He's still not too far off of Zhirayr Gurunyan, but he lost a little bit on that sector. Sector 3, he's got to try a bit harder. I don't think that was the ideal line in comparison to Zhirayr Gurunyan. Lee Horne has actually gone a bit quicker. He's slotted into 2nd place. Neil Crave takes 5th place, 0.2 of a second, and he actually did pretty good in that final split. And this is Roy Plummer. Green splits, but not threatening the front as of yet, but he'll probably improve his position if he can get a good final few corners around the carousel. Into that final kink of turn 13. Across the line. Green splits. That'll improve his time. That'll get him up to 13th place. Good stuff from Roy Plummer. Another next-gen house racer. Matthew Addy gets himself into 7th place. Just 3.5 off the pace of the leader. Another VW driver out there. There's a lot of Brits out there, I've noticed. But at the moment, it's still pole position is Zhirayr Gurunyan. And Neil Crave is really hooking up a good first sector here. That Cooper is the best car in a straight line, so maybe that back straight, the rolling start straight, as we mentioned earlier, is benefiting the Cooper more than other places on the track. But just to point out about the leader at the moment, first in qualifying at the moment, Zhirayr Gurunyan, big congratulations are in order for him as he has become a sim racing coach. He's in charge of training up Ukrainian sim racers to become the next big thing for Ukraine in terms of esports. So a big congratulations to him as he works for Kiev Auto Motor Club. Very, very nice guy and a big fan of the channel, I hear, so I'm sure he'll love hearing his name in such honours just then. Now, Jonas Lienberg. Jonas Lienberg had a really good meeting at the meeting I missed, Autodrom Most. But so far today, 12th place as the Honda of, I think that was Alexander Jakobsen, avoiding him there. Now, in fact, Lienberg does improve to 10th, but certainly nowhere near what Lienberg is capable of. Now, Justin Welbeck, purple first sector, not a good second sector. And there's a terrible outing of the last corner there. It might have been just enough. No, it's not quite. He will not improve on his time. He'll stay 3rd at the moment with 6.5 minutes to go. Plenty of time for Justin to do more times, but he must be frustrated because he knows what he can do based on what happened in practice. That is Zhirayr Gurunyan going to turn 1 to start a brand new flying lap. He seems to think he's got more in the tank, so he's carrying on. But he hasn't got much of a cushion in front of him and Lee Horne, or even Justin Welbeck, for that matter, less than a 10th. And in fact, only 4/10 or just over 4/10 separates 1st to 9th on a 13-corner track is pretty impressive. Let's see if Lienberg can join that galley of drivers, as he has a pretty impressive first sector. Now through Sector 2. Very wide through there, in fact. You need to get that inside curb. Very difficult corner, difficult track, in fact. There's a bump on every single corner you have to consider. Into the carousel, and in fact Lienberg will not improve on his position. He'll have to try again for another lap with 5.5 minutes to go. Plenty of time for these drivers. Albin Hilgren is in the pits, not doing a lap. Now, Albin Hilgren, a bit of controversy around him as he came through to win race 3 last week, by sight anyway. But there was a bit of an incident on the final lap between him and William Foyle, which the stewards found not in favour of Albin Hilgren, and they actually demoted him to 2nd place as a result of unfair blocking on William Foyle. So William Foyle has inherently taken the win in that 3rd race last week, which was a very, very dramatic ending. It was dramatic all the way throughout the meeting. There was lots going on from lap 1 last week. See what can happen this week. Zhirayr Gurunyan has improved his time again, I believe. Yes, he's more than a tenth ahead of Justin Welbeck now. So he's improved his time by a few hundredths, not tenths. But still, that makes it just a little bit harder for Lee Horne and Justin Welbeck. Lee Horne's coming around the final corner now. Will he improve his time? He could do. In fact, he has just a little... No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Look at your timing screen, Alex. No, he was 7 hundredths, sorry, off of his personal best. For Zhirayr Gurunyan, he's not finished yet. That promotion seems to have boosted his ego a little bit, boosted his confidence a little bit. Look at those splits, 2 tenths up. Matthew Addy has taken second place. That's come out of nowhere. Credit to him. But Zhirayr Gurunyan comes across the line. Huge improvement now to 1 minute 30.311. That must be final nail in the coffin, and he's gone into the pits, in fact. Sort of said, yep, that'll do, donkey. But Matthew Addy, second place at the moment. He's come out of nowhere. But this is Fraser Rostance now. Purple final sector, gets himself into second place. Now the track's come alive, the tyres have come alive, the drivers have come alive. This is Matthew Addy. Seen his second place taken away in the last few seconds. He'll try again to try and get it back. But this has knocked Lee Horne down. It's knocked Ben Walker down to 8th. So this is good for Lee Horne and Zhirayr Gurunyan in terms of the championship battle. If they're seeing Ben Walker fall down the order, I mean, there's a race to go after this. But that's good for them in terms of the championship, because Lee Horne gained a little bit on Ben Walker in the last round. But Ben Walker is still a little bit safe. He still needs to manage to finish races, still needs to finish good, as he has done all season. He's been Mr. Consistent, and that's what has got him leading the championship. But if the Andy Priel movement, Matthew Addy could not improve on his time, but he's fairly close to what he could do. Within 2 tenths of Gurunyan is pretty good. Now, Justin Welbeck, what has he got in store for us? This looks pretty good, and it is good. Oh, but not quite good enough. 12 hundredths of a second off of Zhirayr Gurunyan on a 13-corner track. This is really impressive from these. The top 5 separated by less than 2 tenths of a second. Incredible stuff from these drivers today. Fraser Rostance does not improve his time, but Justin Welbeck slots into second place. He'd be pleased, but not fully satisfied with that. But Zhirayr Gurunyan must have put some doubt in these guys' heads, but they are trying, as Lee Horne has gone a personal best in Sector 1, not a personal best in Sector 2, so there's not much left in the tank for Lee Horne by the looks of it. Bearing in mind, Lee Horne has only got 6 kilos more than Zhirayr Gurunyan. Ben Walker's got 12 more kilos than Zhirayr Gurunyan. It's not that much, not much difference in the weight between those. Less than a minute left in qualifying now. Justin Welbeck has got plenty left. He's got a clear track ahead of him. Gone a bit wide coming out of turn 9 there. Through Thunder Valley. Oh, he's dropped a bit on Sector 2, and it might have been from that final corner. The back end stepped out a lot there. He takes a wide entry. First apex hit. Second apex gets it just about. Is this the right lap for Justin Welbeck? Will he take pole position? No, he won't. He will stay on the time he was on, and he'll stay in second place. He might be able to complete this lap. And it depends how Raceroom sorts it. This is Fraser Rostance. Qualifying results have come up now as the time's expired. But Zhirayr Gurunyan has taken pole position in round 7 here at Mid-Ohio. Justin Welbeck on his comeback after a long break is straight back in the thick of it. Second place. Fraser Rostance will line up 3rd, and Matthew Addy in 4th. We'll get those qualifying results back up for you in just a second. That's what Raceroom does, I'm afraid. There we go. So Fraser Rostens was third with Matthew Addy. His best qualifying position of the season, lines up 4th place. Lee Horne, second in the championship, will line up 5th alongside William Foyle. Neil Crave will line up 7th with championship leader Ben Walker in 8th. Jeff Perkis in 9th with Jamie Dory, the defending champion, a disappointing 10th for him. All Sweden on the 6th row as Jonas Lienberg lines up 11th with Alexander Jakobsen in 12th. August Agan in 13th with Roy Plummer in 14th. Alex Ward will line up 15th, and last of the runners is Albin Hilgren in 16th. So we have a 15-minute race coming up for you very, very shortly, in less than a minute. Drivers getting out on track just to get a feel for the track conditions. The time of day does move on between qualifying and races, so they have to acclimatise themselves to those new conditions. Thank you, Katie Eames, for that comment. No, I'm not. Thought I'd let you know. So qualifying, warm-up is over now. Yes, Katie, I am born in Wales and bred in Wales, but my parents are from the Midlands. That's why I've got a terrible twang to me. A bit of the dialect of Wales mixed with Bedfordshire and Oxfordshire accents. But hey ho, that's me. So, here we go. Race 1 is about to start for the Nxtgen PMR Season 19 WTCR League, and it's a jump start already from Justin Welbeck, I just saw. So, we'll get underway, and Justin will have to come in the pits. Away they go, and I think that was a jump start for Alexander Jakobsen as well. Good start from Matthew Addy there in 4th place. He gets himself into 3rd already. Into the first corner goes Zhirayr Gurunyan with Fraser Rostens in 2nd place. We're on board here with Matthew Addy, who's trying to make a move on Lee Horne, who's got from 5th to 3rd already. That is confirmation of the... Oh no, it's not. It's a slow-down penalty for Justin, so as well as the jump start, he's got a slow-down penalty. Welcome back to Raceroom. As Justin, a lot's changed. Watching Matthew Addy intently, these cameramen are, as he slipstreams. Lee Horne down the straights here. He's going to make a move going into turn 4. Late on the brakes, just gets ahead, and Lee Horne will slot behind him, and that makes Matthew Addy go wide. He broke a little bit too late. Lee Horne gets himself back into 4th place, and I was about to say he pushed Neil Crave wide there, but I don't think he did. Neil Crave went wide and slips back down to 6th place. We can see Justin Welbeck in the lone link there, battling with the crew, battling with the gang. But he'll have a slowdown penalty to serve, I'm pretty sure. Not a slowdown penalty, a drive-through penalty to serve due to jumping the start, a new feature to Raceroom as of Christmas. But we're watching Fraser Rostens. Now, Zhirayr Gurunyan dominated qualifying, but Fraser Rostens is not letting him dominate this race so far. Bit of a wonky-donkey final corner from Fraser Rostens, but he'll sort it out for the rest of the lap, I'm sure. So, standing so far, after lap 1 of this race, Zhirayr Gurunyan leads. Fraser Rostens is 2nd with Lee Horne in 3rd place. Matthew Addy 4th. William Foyle in 5th, and Ben Walker has got himself from 8th to 6th so far. He is our championship leader, remember. Justin Welbeck has come into the pits, as has Alexander Jakobsen, both to serve drive-through penalties for jumping the start. So, Justin Welbeck had similar to what Zhirayr Gurunyan had this week. Zhirayr, on the other hand, has sorted it out for this week. It's a little bit of getting used to for these drivers. I mean, there are other sims on the market that have the jump start ability such as Assetto Corsa and iRacing, but Raceroom hasn't had it for a long, well, hasn't had it ever. Even the early edition of the game, which was Race 07, didn't have it. But now, looking back to the racing, Matthew Addy getting a little bit closer to Lee Horne, using plenty of the track and more than the track to try and keep up. Probably a bit excited right now is Matthew Addy. He hasn't really had much opportunities at the front. He's usually been mid-pack, has Matthew Addy, so fair play to him today. Making moves out there so far. Jeff Perkins battling with Neil Crave in the Cooper in front of him. The Cooper behind him, Jamie Dory. Looking at Matthew Addy again, he's got fellow Volkswagen driver William Foyle behind him. The blue Gordon Shedden Audi in front of him of Lee Horne. Fraser Rustin's not much closer to Zhirayr Gurunyan. Zhirayr will get his tyres warmed up and then he'll get into the same groove that he got in qualifying. That is what Zhirayr does. A tremendous hot lapper is Zhirayr, so he gets on the time trials and he, well, blows everyone away on them, on the leaderboards. And this is Matthew Addy. He's going to go for another move on Lee Horne. Lee Horne lets him have it because he just knows that Matthew Addy is going to go wide into turn 4 and he'll have to recover but slot back behind William Foyle into 5th place. Big improvement from Matthew Addy, but still a little bit to work on the overtaking front, but a good effort nonetheless from Matthew Addy. He'll try again. He's clearly got the pace out there. See if he can stay in front of Ben Walker and perhaps catch up to William Foyle now. Back with this battle for 7th place. Jeff Perkins right in between the two Cupras. Just over 10 minutes to go in this race, so we're nearly a third of the way through. Not much to report on just yet, other than Justin Welbeck getting a drive-through penalty. Justin Welbeck will... Oh, and there's a rollover just back there. That was Jamie Dory rolling. Oh dear. Oh, nasty. We'll have to bring out the safety car. Hang on, there is a safety car thing on this stream overlay, but you can't actually have a safety car in Raceroom, which is rather disappointing. But that was a nasty roll from Jamie Dory there. We only caught it in the mirror of Jeff Perkins there. And a mangled front end on that Cooper now. It's more of a Volkswagen... I was going to say a Volkswagen Golf then. It's more of a Beefer now. So unlucky for Jamie Dory. He's going to have to come back in race 2. This is Fraser Rostons, who has conceded the position to Lee Horne. We missed that sadly due to watching the rollover of Jamie Dory. But the battle will rage on between these two. Matthew Addy is caught up with William Foyle. The two Audis battling it out. This is good for Lee Horne's championship. He's not too many points behind or dropping from Zhirayr Gurunyan as it stands, and he's scoring plenty more than Ben Walker in 6th place. This is the two VWs of William Foyle and Matthew Addy, nearly side by side, but not quite. Ben Walker is behind there in the Hyundai, being caught by Neil Crave, I might add. Back with Fraser Rostons. Lee Horne, got to say, has been really impressive in the last few rounds. He was pretty impressive out at Zolder. Got a race win at Most, I believe. And last week he was really good at Anderstorp. So Lee Horne really tidying up his act and going for that championship now, which he has battled for 3 seasons prior to this one. Last season being with Jamie Dory. The season before, season 17, was actually with me. He beat me. Never mind, can't win them all. And the season before that, I'm not entirely sure it was with. I've only known Nxtgen for this the 3rd season now. And Matthew Addy braking late yet again. Couldn't quite keep it on track. Has dropped off from William Foyle, is now under pressure from championship leader Ben Walker. But back with the battle for second for the minute. Fraser Rostens is struggling to keep up with Lee Horne. Lee Horne must be managing those tyres pretty well, as we're about halfway through the race and he's got into a pretty good groove. Is still within 2 seconds of Zhirayr Gurunyan, so it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. But Lee Horne has got a lot to do to catch up with Zhirayr Gurunyan, who has dominated the session so far. I believe that was just no, it wasn't. It was a car just in front of Zhirayr Gurunyan then, but I'll try to figure out who it was. Ben Walker, 6th place. This is what Ben Walker is so good at, just scoring points. He doesn't need to panic today about finishing 6th. He'll stay safe in the championship, and there's a reverse grid coming in, and plus a removal of ballast, so he'll drop about 20 kilos of ballast as it stands, and he'll start 3rd on the grid, so he's probably preferable to that. Rostens still within touching distance of Lee Horne, probably using Lee Horne to try help catch up Zhirayr Gurunyan, still within 2 seconds of the Ukrainian. Jamie Dory's slow down penalty, it just gets worse for him. The defending champion, you could probably almost say that his chances of getting back the championship are running very slim now at this point in the season, with 4 rounds, that's including this one, to go. He's missed a few rounds due to work, which is more than fair enough. The season 18 champion, his chances running very slim at the moment. A bit of a queue developing behind William Foyle, with Matthew Addy behind him, Ben Walker behind him, then Neil Crave and Jeff Purkis, and that is Justin Welbeck, who's tied onto the back of them, but just in 16th in the standings. So this is just for, well, its and giggles. Justin, he'll be able to see how he can perform amongst these drivers, ready for race 2, as he'll probably have to start 16th on the grid, but you have a chance to get through the pack with no ballast and the car that is very, very good at this circuit, as he shows Jeff Purkis just what he and it is made of. Oh, a bit too wide actually, breaking into turn 4 there, broke a bit too late. Have to try again the next time round by the looks of it. We're coming back to Fraser Rostens, the most exciting battle on the track because it's the closest. And they're actually gaining on Zhirayr Gurunyan. Zhirayr is now only 1.3 seconds ahead. So Lee Horne doing very, very well indeed to keep up and almost catch Zhirayr Gurunyan, who has got a Cooper in front of him to worry about, which is Alex Ward, as he pulls over to let by the Ukrainian and race leader, and lets the 2nd and 3rd place runners go by. So good sportsmanship from Alex Ward there. A blue flag. If you are interested in this sort of trivial motorsport part of things, the blue flag isn't actually a flag to tell you to get out the way. It is actually a statement of fact to tell you that a driver on a lap or laps ahead of you is coming up behind you. Be aware. It's literally an awareness flag. It is not the get out the way flag. And in America, it's actually a different variation. It's a blue flag with a yellow stripe through, diagonally through the middle of it. Not sure why it's different, but hey ho, that's America. That's the way they do things. Oh, and that's oh, what's going on with Alex Ward back there? Hit the curb and his car just bounced up and down like a go-kart. Able to keep it going, but it's bad for these Coopers today. They're just not having a good run at it. It was Jamie Dory who rolled over earlier on, and Alex Ward nearly rolling over this time. Zhirayr Gurunyan has hooked up a good lap here. He has pulled away by about 2/10. He's currently holding the fastest lap of the race with a 30.311. Just checking this. Actually, no, he's not. Justin Welbeck has the fastest lap of the race. Clear track ahead of him and nothing to fight for as Justin, so he's able to set quick times. 30.096 for Justin. very similar to that of the qualifying pace that Zhirayr was putting in. Fraser Rostance seems a bit cushy in third place at the moment. He seems quite happy to finish there. His teammate, in fact, is in front of him, Lee Horne, so there might be a little bit of team tactics at play here. Two next-gen drivers on the podium in their own series, so why fight for more? Slowdown penalty for Jonas Lienberg, back in 9th place. Might end up conceding a position to Oguzhagan in 10th in the red Honda behind him. In fact, Jonas now serves that penalty. Holds up Albin Hilgren, the was provisional winner last time out in race 3 at Anderstorp. Taken away from him by the stewards earlier this week, or over the weekend, should I say. Now Lee Horne looks to be defending now, as does William Foyle in front of Matthew Addy here. In the Mehdi Banani livery there is William Foyle. And he's got Ben Walker behind Addy as well. So plenty to worry about. Is Addy the position ahead or the position behind? I'm sure he'd prefer the position ahead. Zhirayr Gurunyan will start his final lap very shortly here. In fact, he has in just a few seconds. And that's Jeff Purkis up the inside of Neil Crave to take 7th place. Good move from the Audi driver in one of the most difficult corners on the circuit. Neil Crave will not give up just yet. He's got Justin Welbeck helping him along behind him. Ben Walker, championship leader. Can he get one position more without compromising his race? Just for a few more points. But Matthew Addy in front. His first time running in the top 5, I believe. Jeff Purkis defending from Neil Crave. Going into the keyhole. We'll look back at Matthew Addy here. He's probably not close enough to make a move on Willie Foyle. This is probably the last great opportunity to make a move. Neil Crave in the background is looking to Jeff Purkis. Purkis defends the inside. Neil Crave will try the outside, and he might have made it. Still on the inside going into turn 5. Neil Crave gets back in front of Jeff Purkis. But Neil Crave goes wide coming out of turn 5 there. Jeff Purkis back ahead. Oh dear me, and this is Matthew Addy right over the rear of William Foyle. He had a bit of a bounce off the curb and went wide. Ben Walker right behind Matthew Addy now. The chances of Addy getting 4th now is kind of off the cards. Has to defend from Ben Walker, but it's all about this man. Zhirayr Gurunyan start to finish. He's had a little bit of threat from behind, but Zhirayr Gurunyan wins after a dismal meeting last week. Wins the first race here at Mid-Ohio. Lee Horne in 2nd, 3rd is Fraser Rostance, and 4th comes through William Foyle, with Matthew Addy in impressive 5th place behind him. I think that's his best finish of the season, so credit to him. Ben Walker, championship leader, comes through in 6th, would have lost some points difference in the championship, which sadly we cannot find out tonight, but you have to trust me on that one. We'll look at the championship standings coming into the round, not the next race after this, but we'll carry on. 7th was Jeff Purkis, and reverse grid winner, pole position for race 2 because he finished 8th in this race, Neil Crave. It was a good battle with Jeff Purkis on that final lap. Oguzhagan finishes 9th place, rising up quite a few positions from 14th, I think he was. We'll check that later. Albin Hilgren rounds up the top 10, with Jonas Lienberg a slowdown on the penultimate lap in 11th place. Roy Plummer in 12th. Jamie Dory, after a dramatic roll in this corner, in fact, will come through to finish 13th. Alexander Jakobsen had a jump start, so had to serve a drive-through penalty, will come through 14th. Justin Welbeck finished 15th. We'll have to see how he will do for the rest of the night. Alex Ward, a DNF, finish in 16th, and this is what Raceroom does. It does this to the drivers. So I will come back very shortly later on with the results of classified results of race 2. We'll be back very shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio for the Nxtgen PMR Racing Season 19 WTCR League on Raceroom. Race 2 coming up very shortly here in the Ohio state of America. This is the track we're on today, Mid-Ohio, Morrow County in Ohio, United State. Not States, State. Good job, graphic designer. Good. Full circuit today. There's a fair few different variations of this track. This one goes round turn 1 and goes straight up to the keyhole. There is a chicane you can apply between turns 1 and 2, but this is just the regular bog standard full circuit layout. 2.2 miles, 3.6 kilometers. The circuit costs £3.59 on Raceroom if you want to buy it. The cars we're racing today, the WTCRs, cost £10 at the moment on Raceroom, 66% off offer if you want to buy the whole pack, and each car is worth about £3.50. 13 turns on this track, 8 to the right, 5 to the left, so a little bit of a hard one on the the left side of the car, the left tyres, and very bumpy track, as you can see all the elevation changes in that map displayed there. So a little bit of a warm-up / practice run before the drivers take to the grid for race 2. We're unable to get the results. Raceroom, since its update, is a little bit tricky to acquire the results of races since the update. So it's a little bit tricky to acquire them. So apologies for that. I did read them out before the end of the session, but we'll have to see if Raceroom can find us a way of giving us the results more sustainably. But your race winner in that opening race was Zhirayr Gurunyan. There you can see him in the number 5 Hyundai, middle right. An impressive first race from him. Second place was Lee Horne, who is also second in the championship, so good on him at the moment. And third place was Fraser Ostens. So this is the Nxtgen PMR Racing WTCR League, the 19th season of Nxtgen's running. And this is round 7 here at Mid-Ohio. This is the roster we are running this season. We started off all those weeks ago in Portimao. Round 2 followed with Brands Hatch Indy layout. That was before the Grand Prix layout came out, so it's quite a shame about that. Road America for round 3, Zolder for round 4, Autodrome Most for round 5, and then a 2-week break for Christmas and New Year. We came back for last week's round 6 at the Scandinavian Raceway, otherwise known as Anderstorp, for what was quite an exciting and dramatic beating last time out, with penalties, last lap dramas, first lap dramas, and all sorts. But this week, Mid-Ohio, a fairly easy drive so far for Zhirayr Gurunyan to take the win. He also got pole position, so 4 points so far for Zhirayr. Next week, we hop over to China for the fairly recently released Ningbo Circuit. Let me just find out where the Ningbo Circuit is in China. Good old Google Maps will help us. So Ningbo is east side of China. It's quite a long way from just south of Shanghai, so fairly close to other circuits that are on Raceroom from China anyway. But after Ningbo Circuit, we head back to Europe for the Motorland Aragon GP circuit in Spain for the penultimate round. We did a little test race at Aragon for the Exiled series some time ago, and it was actually quite an exciting little track, so that should be a good round for these drivers. And round 10, all roads lead to Spa, don't they? Yeah, they should. Round 10 is at Spa, the final round of the season, in 3 weeks time, 3 weeks today. So coming into today, these were the standings. Ben Walker on 404 points, with Lee Horne following behind on 387 points. That gap would have closed a little bit after that opening race of the day, but about 10 points I reckon that's probably shrunk by, as Ben Walker finished 6th. Lee Horne finished 2nd. So things really hottening up between them two. Zhirayr Gurunyan had a good opening race there. He would have caught up to Ben Walker a little bit, but he's still quite a way behind. He has to put in a good rest of meeting to catch up. The ballast would have reset for this race. It's based on the top 10 finishers of race 1. So Zhirayr Gurunyan will head out on track in this race with 60 kilograms of ballast. The driver to look out for in this race will be Justin Welbeck, who was extremely quick in qualifying and practice, but new back to Raceroom, suffered with a jump start, sadly for him. But in this race, if he can sort it out, he could get himself through the group and up to the front potentially with no ballast on his car. Half a minute remaining until we start race 2 of the night. 16 drivers in our server today. Bit of drifting going on from Alexander Jakobsen. Quite entertaining. Maybe he's listening. So the drivers will set up now on the grid for race 2. Here we go. This is race 2 of round 7 here at Mid-Ohio Full Layout Circuit, the Nxtgen Season 19 PowerMax Racing WTCR League on Raceroom. My name is Alex Everett of Crest Autosports, and we're about to go for race 2. Neil Crave is on pole position, Jeff Perkins in second. Lights are green, away they go. Nobody gets a jump start. Great news. Now Neil Crave gets a very good start there coming into turn 1. Jeff Perkins under pressure on the outside from Ben Walker going into turn 2. Ben Walker on the outside of the Audi, and he'll get a good run coming out turn 2. Ben Walker, the championship leader, slots into second place. Slow down penalty for track limits for Roy Plummer at the back. Jeff Perkins will try again on the Hyundai, and he's got William Foyle on his outside in 4th place there. Good start from William Foyle by the looks of it. That is William we're on board with now. A little bit of unintentional nudge from the quarter panel of Jeff Perkins there. Zhirayr Gurunyan has dropped to 10th place. Zagan and Albin Hilgren have nipped in front of him. He's dropped to 11th place now, has Zhirayr Gurunyan. Not a very good start from him indeed. He's going to drop more positions by the looks of it too. Justin Welbeck, as he goes wide at turn 4, is able to get back in front. Justin Welbeck under trouble now from Jamie Dory. Oh, it's a real gaggle of cars coming through the S's now. That is a very slow running Albin Hilgren in front of Zhirayr Gurunyan now. But back at the front, Ben Walker, championship leader, up to 2nd place from 3rd place so far. Going to make a charge on the yellow Cooper driver of Neil Crave. Into the carousel. Neil Crave slips it sideways. There was no contact there. He slipped it sideways himself. Cold rear tyres. But Ben Walker couldn't capitalise on that. Across the line, Neil Crave leads from lights to so far. Ben Walker up the inside. Cunning move into turn 1 there. But you'll have the outside going into the keyhole, which is next corner. There's a lot of cars going very wide coming out of turn 1 there. Neil Crave holds the inside going into the keyhole. Ben Walker outbroke him, but Neil Crave is able to nip back in front. Ben Walker, a good run coming out the keyhole, will now get to the outside. Probably the better line to have going down to turn 4. We'll now go through turn 3, which is the kink here. Now the run down to turn 4, over 200 kilometers per hour. Braking at the 200 sign there, or the 300 sign, and he gets in front of Neil Crave, does Ben Walker. You can see him there ahead of the yellow Seat. Great second race so far from Ben Walker. It's exactly what he probably hoped for. William Fall has nipped into third place past Jeff Perkins here. Great opening few laps from the Crest Autosport driver. Good lad. Lee Horne has got himself into 5th place from 7th place so far. Zhirayr Gurunyan all the way down in 12th place at the moment. Justin Welbeck started last in 16th. He's up to 10th already. Reverse grid is 15 drivers, so one of these drivers is going to miss out on reverse grid. At the moment, it's Roy Plummer. Round the outside goes William Fall. Oh, and he slips it sideways. He's going to spin nearly, just about keeps hold of it. And he'll drop down the order now into 8th place. It looked like it was going to be a great move around the outside of Neil Crave, but just slips it sideways. That short wheelbase not helping William Fall. He's got it all to do again as the VW driver. And look at this. Ogu Zagan is up to 7th from 10th place. He's making moves, as is Justin Welbeck back in 10th place. Jamie Dory, a slow down penalty there. Not his meeting today. Not his meeting. So far. And now two Audis fighting side by side. That is Lee Horne and Jeff Perkins, both in exactly the same livery, just to help us. That is Lee Horne on the inside. On the left side from our view, and he gets ahead. Is he broke too late? Oh, I'm not too sure, but Matthew Addy is making moves on Jeff Perkins there. Matthew Addy has Fraser Rostons to worry about as well. Fraser's in the grey Audi there. The VW on the inside is Matthew Addy. He's able to stay alongside his Fraser, but has to tuck back in behind as the track goes round to the right. That on the inside is Oghuz Agan, a brave move from the Turkish driver, and wide goes Matthew Addy. Fraser Austin's back alongside and might be able to complete the move now. Yes, he has, and this might promote Oghuz Agan up another position on the outside. Going through Thunder Valley, not able to complete the move just yet. Nice fair racing so far from all these drivers, giving each other racing room, which is great to see. Neil Crave cannot keep up with Ben Walker as he's defending from Lee Horne. Lee Horne knows that's his championship rival getting away from him. He needs to get past Neil Crave quickly. Makes a move up the inside. Daring move from Lee Horne. Has he made that work? He'll now hold the outside as they come down the front straight away. Yellow overalls of Neil Crave there. Nice yellow boots. I want a pair of them. He's on the inside as we come down to turn 4. Who's going to be latest at the breakers? That's key here. Lee Horne, latest in fact, as he broke too late. A little bit, but probably not enough to worry himself. Lee Horne gets himself into 2nd place, and now he can focus on catching up with Ben Walker, who's nearly 3 seconds up the road. Jeff Perkins in 4th place. He's going to try and capitalise on Neil Crave's demise now to 3rd place. Justin Welbeck is already in 8th place. He's halfway through the grid, and he's got William Fall ahead of him. 2 VWs ahead of him, in fact, and he's put Oghuz Agan behind him to promote himself to 8th place. Oh, and wide goes Neil Crave. Jeff Perkins gets past quite easily, as does Fraser Rostons behind him. Jeff Perkins sideways going into the carousel there, and back there. There's battling going on between the 2 VWs. Matthew Addy and William Fall at it again. Addy stays in front of William. No progress so far from Zhirayr Gurunyan. He's struggling with this reverse grid. He can't get past Alexander Jakobsen at the moment. He dropped from 8th to 12th so far in this race. The race 1 winner has a lot less, well, he has a bit more weight on him, 12 kilos more, but it's not much to hamper his performance, so just not a good outing so far in this race from Zhirayr. William Fall. Glaring sun ray off that number 12 Rob Huff livery there of Matthew Addy. He chose not to go for the inside, and that has actually put Justin Welbeck up the inside. Turns across on him. Justin Welbeck had to take to the curb to avoid him. Not sure what was going on with William Fall there. Is a little bit clumsy from the Brit there. Now Justin Welbeck in the very superior link. It's very good on these bumps and curbs. He'll try the undercut for turn 9. It won't happen. Thunder Valley next. Matthew Addy getting closer to Neil Crave. He was still trying to make his way back on to Fraser Rostins. He lost 2 positions a lap ago, or 2 laps ago. William Fall takes a late line and a late apex into the carousel. Will stay ahead of Justin Welbeck for the minute. Lee Horne is 2.8 seconds behind Ben Walker. He's not catching his championship rival, but second place, 2 second places in a row for Lee Horne is more than enough to help his championship bid. Flashing his lights to try and distract Ben Walker, put him off a little bit, just say, I'm catching you, championship dude. This is Justin Welbeck. Right behind 2 Volkswagens. He's got to shake these off. At the beginning of the race, it's fairly easy getting through from the back with all the cars gaggled up and all the cars backing up into these braking zones and corners. But at this point of the race, you've got to be a bit more cunning. Fraser Rostins, 4th. Jeff Perkins went a bit wide, broke a bit too late for turn 4 there. Fraser Rostins will hold the inside, will try and take the outside. He might have the inside going into turn 6. Yes, he does. Fraser Rostins hasn't quite made it. Jeff Perkins will hold the inside as we go through the S's now. Still side by side as we come round to turn 8 and 9. Jeff Perkins slots behind Fraser Rostins. It's great how much these drivers can battle side by side on such a difficult track. Left to right constantly, it seems. Jeff is now defending from Neil Crave, not just trying to get back up onto Fraser Rostins. There's a big line of cars behind Fraser Rostins. It goes all the way back to Elgus Agan in 9th. And could even go as far to Lienberg and more. Gurunyan is actually on the back of this train. Oh, it's a bad entrance to turn 1 from Neil Crave. Well, it looked like a bad entrance, but Matthew Addy wasn't able to capitalise. He in fact got a slow down penalty. So that, I mean, William Fall will promote to 6th place. It looks like Matthew Addy's not serving his slowdown penalty just yet. He might do it on this back straight here. This is William Foyle, and no sign of serving the penalty from Addy so far. We saw in the mirror there, Justin Welbeck has got himself up the inside of William Foyle. William Foyle will try the inside of Matthew Addy, 3 wide going into turn 4. Welbeck's on the inside and he's going to make it through. William Foyle not giving him much room at all, but Justin Welbeck makes it through. 2 in 1 corner. Brilliant from the Lincoln Co driver. William Foyle does not promote a place. He's back in 7th place. And Matthew Addy is now under trouble from Elgus Agan. Welcome to the front of the grid, Matthew Addy. Here is Jeff Perkins breaking away a little bit from Neil Crave, who's now going to be under pressure from the charging Justin Welbeck. Lee Horne just broken away from these two and working on catching Ben Walker, which is not happening. Ben Walker is breaking away from Lee Horne, another second ahead now, 3.7. So Lee Horne might have to settle down and settle for 2nd place. Now let's get back with Justin Welbeck, the charging Lincoln Co. Oh, and a big nudge at the rear of Neil Crave. Got a bit too eager to get alongside him. The advantage Justin has on these drivers is he has no ballast on his car. That was a lunge up the inside from Matthew Addy on William Foyle behind these drivers, but didn't happen. A big run of slipstream on the much heavier Cupra. Justin will try the outside, but it looked like he was getting closed off by Neil Crave. He is still getting closed off by Neil Crave. Not today. He'll have to try another move, and that was a Hyundai spinning. That was Jonas Lienberg. I'm not sure what happened there, but ended up spinning going into turn 4. He might have broke too late. Oh, and that's wide going Alex Ward as well. Justin's alongside Neil Crave yet again. Neil shuts the door. Oh, Neil wasn't able to hang on to the apex there. Justin's able to get up the inside. Neil Crave will have to concede the position here, and he might concede it to William Foyle as well. Dirty tyres will not help Neil Crave now as he slots into 7th place. Welbeck up to 5th from 16th on the grid. A brilliant charge. The forever forward winner in this race outright, if there was such a award. It is in the BTCC, but not in here. Jeff Perkins still charging down on Fraser Rostins. he might have Justin Welbeck to worry about soon enough. Matthew Addy going very wide in the background there. Now has to try and catch back up with Neil Crave. William Fall had a lot in his hands earlier on in the race, but it slipped away with trying to make a move on Neil Crave of all people. He's now finally passed him, but a move that's cost him a fair few positions. It probably would have been on for a podium right now. Jeff Perkis again hasn't got much to answer for Fraser Rostons. It's just not been Jeff Perkis' season in these touring cars here. His history on Raceroom includes 3rd place last season. Went down to the wire with, well, it went down to the final round with Lee Horne and Jamie Dory, but it slipped away in the opening few races of the meeting. Exiled Virtual Motorsport Season 4, he finished 5th in the championship in that season. 6th in the championship. Plenty of potential in Jeff. We look to William Fall, who's still within touching distance of Zhirayr Gurunyan, Justin Welbeck, and that is, I said Zhirayr Gurunyan then because he's just had a slow down penalty. Not his race at all. As wide goes Agan right in front of me and wide again. Bit of a strange corner there from Agan. Zhirayr might be able to get on the outside. I think that was a slow down penalty for Oguz Agan. Zhirayr finally gets back into the top 10. Justin Welbeck back there in the blue link with the yellow stripe down the middle, gaining ever so slightly on Jeff Perkis, but it might be that this is the final lap of the race, and in which case this will mean a win for Ben Walker. This race has flown by, that's why I've only just sort of realised, yep, it will be the final lap for Ben Walker. The checkered flag will come out as he exits the carousel here. A stellar performance from the championship leader. Another win under his belt. Win number 4, I think. Ben Walker takes it with Lee Horne. Another 2nd place. 2 in a row for him. Fraser Rostons comes through 3rd. Another 3rd place for him, in fact. With Jeff Perkis in 4th place. Justin Welbeck from 16th to 5th. Brilliant performance from him. William Fall will take 6th place and Neil Crave in 7th. Matthew Addy in 8th place. Alexander Jakobsen, much better race. He went from 15th to 9th in this race. Credit to him. Oguz Agan, the other Honda driver, in 10th. Zhirayr Gurunyan, a disappointing race for him. Drops from 8th to 11th. Albin Hilgren in 12th. Lienberg in 13th. 14th, Roy Plummer. 15th comes through Alex Ward, who will take pole position for race 3 coming up in about 10 minutes or so. And Jamie Dory, a dismal meeting for him. The championship defendant, not really looking like he's going to defend his title, unfortunately. But your race winner, well, we can't see him, Ben Walker. So, in fact, on that note, we will go away now, and we'll come back very shortly for race 3 and the classified results, hopefully. See you very shortly. Welcome back, and race 3 coming up of this Nxtgen PMR Racing Season 19 WTCR League on Raceroom, featuring the WTCR 2019 package on Raceroom. Tonight we're here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for round 7 of the Nxtgen League. Just a few moments until we get underway with race 3 coming up in 6.5 minutes. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get underway. So tonight we're at Mid-Ohio, the full circuit without the chicane. This track costs £3.59 on Raceroom. If you are interested in Raceroom, that is how much it costs, and go and get it. Pretty exciting track so far tonight. There's plenty of battling in race 2 there. Much more exciting than race 1, I found. So hopefully more of that in race 3 as we have a 15 reverse grid. Nearly full, just one off of full. This is how the season looks that we are looking at and spectating on at the moment. This is round 7 at Mid-Ohio. We started off all them weeks ago in Portimao. Brands Hatch Indy followed with Road America 3rd. Zolder was in 4th. Autodrom Most 5th. And then we had a break for Christmas and New Year, and we are back for last week's dramatic and exciting round at the Scandinavian Raceway of Anderstorp. This round today, bit of a average race 1, I've found, but a very, very exciting race 2. Plenty to talk about in that one. It's flown by. If you do want to get involved in this series, if you are a Raceroom racer, Nxtgen Racing is the organisation you need to contact. You can find them on Facebook by joining their Facebook group community. Search for Nxtgen Racing as it's spelled in the top left there, and you will find it. Get in touch with Lee Horne. Your name you can see on the right there below the Raceroom logo. He will get you involved in the series. For Raceroom, you just need the game, which is free via Steam. The content is not free, however. The cars cost £10 at the moment for the whole package, or you can buy each individual car if you have one to your preference for £3.50. The tracks usually cost between £2.50 and £4.50 per track, and you get all the alternative layouts with those tracks usually. But we're at Mid-Ohio this week, and then after this week, if you wanted to join in, based on what we just said, Ningbo in China, is next week. And then after that is a return to Europe for the Aragon Circuit in Spain, which is one of the most recent tracks released on Raceroom. Spa-Francorchamps is round 10. But we're going to get underway for race 3 here. The Nxtgen PMR Racing Season 19 WTCR League here at Mid-Ohio. Alex Ward will line up on pole position. Alongside him will be Roy Plummer. Race winner in race 2, Ben Walker, will line up 15th on the grid. Zhirayr Gurunyan, who did not have a good outing, will probably line up, I think it'll be 5th on the grid. We can just about see his Hyundai in 5th place. So here we go. Lights are red. Away we go. No one gets a jump start, which is good news. Away goes Alex Ward. He'll be first into turn 1. Roy Plummer and Lienberg alongside each other. Not anymore. Roy Plummer slots into 2nd place. Zhirayr Gurunyan slots into 4th place. A good strong start for the Ukrainian at the moment. Justin Welbeck with a slow down penalty. Look at Zhirayr again on the Volkswagen and Hyundai just in front of him there. He'll try down the middle, going into the keyhole here. Will Zhirayr Gurunyan on the inside of 3rd place runner Roy Plummer, who loses out to Jonas Lienberg. Oh, further back, a lot of bish, bash and boshing, and there's a 4 wide right in front there. William Fall on the outside. There's an Audi trying to get in the middle there. I think that was Albin Hilgren, but slots back in behind the yellow Cupra of Neil Crave, side by side. Oh, Neil Crave and William Fall clashing wheels there, and William Fall turning straight across Alexander Jakobsen, and in fact Neil Crave went off the track there. I'm not sure if that was as a result of contact, but we'll have to see later. Justin Welbeck making moves like he did in race 1. He's up the inside of Matthew Addy. August Agan right behind Zhirayr Gurunyan. Roy Plummer has lost out to 5th place. so far from second. Not a good opening lap for him. But Alex Ward currently leading. He's got a very, very, very hungry Ukrainian coming up behind him, but who's just made a mistake. Dropped to 4th place. Ogu Zagan now promotes himself to 3rd place and is on the inside, very ambitiously on the inside of Jonas Lienberg around the carousel, but leading the end of lap 1, Alex Ward. Into turn 1 we go. Zhirayr Gurunyan still battling with the Honda of Ogu Zagan. He's got Roy Plummer right behind him as well. William Fall looks like he's going to join that gaggle of cars very soon. Ben Walker is already up to 12th and Lee Horne is up to 11th. Up the inside of Alex Ward goes Jonas Lienberg and takes the position rather easily, and Zhirayr Gurunyan is up to 2nd as well. It's all bunching up here in the mid to front pack, as William Fall is now getting alongside Ogu Zagan. Justin Welbeck is trying on the other Honda of Alexander Jakobsen back there. Zhirayr Gurunyan will go for Lienberg, not quite just yet. Roy Plummer drops to 8th place now. Justin Welbeck has got in front into 7th place. Alex Ward is up the inside of Jonas Lienberg here. Has to slot back in behind him. William Fall has got himself into 4th place. Ogu Zagan's on the inside of William Foyle. Gets in front. William Fall is having a habit of driving across people in this race so far. There's 3 times I've seen him done that. Now the stewards might have a word with him after. Alexander Jakobsen has got himself past Justin Welbeck. So, and Justin Welbeck will try the undercut, but Jakobsen will have the better line coming out the corner and will stay in front. Big crocodile of cars coming out the carousel there as Zhirayr Gurunyan leads lap 3. Just on board with Alex Ward, giving it a good go. He has had a pretty big disappointing meeting so far, and it gets worse for Jamie Dory, the other Cooper driver. Slow down penalty for him. Oh, and up the inside goes Ogu Zagan, a very, very ambitious move. Alex Ward was not expecting that at all, but gets in front. It was a bit of a lucky move, we've got to say, from Aragon, but gets himself into 3rd place. Alex Ward has now got to fend off William Foyle, who's defending, Alex Ward making a move on Aragon, tries to lunge, and William Foyle contact again on Ogu Zagan, nearly turns him round, but Aragon is able to carry on, and he's still trying to go for 3rd place despite going 90 degrees sideways. Foyle back up the inside. 3 wide now going through the S's. This is not going to work. Foyle muscling his way past Ogu Zagan and gets in front of him. Aragon will try again into turn 9. A bit angry with each other. Alex Ward is on the outside there. 3 wide, and Ogu Zagan has disappeared. That might have been too many incidents. Justin Welbeck up the inside of Ward. Jakobsen up the inside of Ward. That didn't work as Ward was going to turn into the corner. And we can see Roy Plummer making his way back past Jakobsen and alongside Alex Ward. Ward's getting roughed about in this lap. Don't think he deserves it. He's driving pretty well, bless him. But William Fall has been promoted to 3rd place now with a very controversial lap there between him and Ogu Zagan. Here's a Honda going very, very slippy there. That was Alexander Jakobsen. He's got to slow down. He's conceding position after position on this straight. Look how close all these cars are. Ben Walker, oh, he's getting roughed about in the middle there between him, Lee Horne, and Albin Hilgren and Jeff Perkis. Look at all these cars in this. This is the power for the rear. Alexander Jakobsen has got Jamie Dory alongside him. Jamie will take to the grass, but will have to back out of it. 2 Audi side by side, that's Lee Horne and Jeff Perkis. Jakobsen just goes straight down the middle of them. Jeff Perkis went sideways there, nudged back into shape by Lee Horne and Jamie Dory. Wow, what a battle. This is for 10th place, or 9th place actually. Jakobsen braving it and staying amongst these drivers. That's Lee Horne and Jamie Dory. Jamie Dory getting back into the thick of things after his slowdown penalty. Albin Hilgren has got himself ahead of Alex Ward going through, I've got the name of the corner, the Thunder Valley, now into the carousel. He's got Alex Ward. Oh, I think he's had too many instant points. He's had to retire from that race. I don't think Alex Ward deserved that. That's how the instant points work, unfortunately, on Raceroom. But Alex Ward, I don't think he deserved that. There was a lot of people's other contact that cost him there. And he's out of this race as a result. Started pole position. Such a shame for him. But up front, Zhirayr Gurunyan, race 1 winner. Race 2 didn't go so well for him, but it could be another win on the cards for him here. No ballast on board, so it's plain sailing right now for him. William Full has got second in its sights with Lienberg taking that position at the moment. And Justin Welbeck, who's been the charging horse in this round, in 4th place behind him. This battle rages on for the mid-pack. They've got to be very careful they don't end up like Alex Ward and Oguz Agan. It might have actually been a disconnection from Oguz Agan. And there's a spin! That was Jonas Lienberg! Lienberg spun. I'm not sure if it involved William Full or not. We're not able to get a replay of it, sadly. But second to last of the runners for Jonas Lienberg. Unfortunate for him, but this promotes William Full and Justin Welbeck to 2nd and 3rd respectively. Justin Welbeck has been the charging horse, as we said, throughout this night. William Full has been the source of a bit of drama in this race so far. How will it end between these two in this race if Justin Welbeck catches and battles with William Full? Jamie Dory is up to 8th. He's having a brilliant comeback after what looked like a disappointing start to the race. He's got Lee Horne behind him. Alexander Jakobsen in front of him. Ben Walker is up to 5th place, our championship leader. And Lee Horne will know he's there. And Lee Horne will want to get past these two in front of him, Jamie Dory and Jakobsen, to help his championship bid. Welbeck. Now with ballast on board, things a little bit different for Welbeck. He's now got weight to negotiate. What affects tyres and what affects weight transfer as well. The way the car handles, especially on this really bumpy circuit. But he's been getting the better of William Full in these last few corners. William Full went wide on one and it compromises the rest. Right up on his bumper now is Justin. Thunder Valley towards the final complex of the carousel. Much different line from Justin Welbeck. Oh, and this is Lee Horne battling with his teammates. Jamie Dory and Fraser Austin's behind him in the grey Audi. And Ben Walker right behind Roy Plummer there. Slow down penalty for Neil Crave back in 12th there. Jamie Dory swapping directions to try and find a way past Alexander Jakobsen. He will look to the outside, but that isn't going to work there. He'll have to get a good run out of here. Let's go on board with Jamie Dory, see if he can get a good run. He's got no ballast and a very powerful Cooper underneath him, and he's easily up the inside of Alexander Jakobsen. Uses a little bit of grass and curb to make sure he gets alongside, ready for the braking into turn 4. On the brakes after the 300-metre sign. Jakobsen brakes later. Oh, and Dory's over again! That Cooper cannot handle the curbs. It cannot hit them. I'm sure Jamie Dory is fed up of driving that Cooper on this track. It just is not handling those curbs right. It's just too low down to the ground. That was a great onboard shot we managed to get there. Well done, cameraman. Me. Ben Walker, championship leader coming into tonight's round. His lead might be slashed a little bit by Zhirayr Gurunyan winning 2 races tonight, but Ben Walker won race 2. Mr. Consistent is Ben Walker, and Lee Horne 3 places down from him. Will gain on him in the championship a little bit after today, I believe. And Will Full has a slowdown and he concedes the position to Justin Welbeck. Ben Walker is alongside Roy Plummer and now will make a move. Jeff Purkis will give it a go as well. Oh, and Roy Plummer sideways. Jeff Purkis shoved him sideways as Roy was trying to slot back behind Ben Walker, and now Roy Plummer will lose out to Lee Horne and Alexander Jakobsen. This might not end well. This is Roy Plummer in the middle of a three-wide situation. He's got Fraser Rostens on his inside, and in front of him goes Jeff Purkis. Excuse me, it was Jeff Purkis who bound with, not Lee Horne. Lee Horne is right behind, trying to capitalise on Fraser Rostens here. Roy Plummer hangs on to 7th place at the moment. Does Lee Horne have to do? He's got Ben Walker getting away from him in the championship, not just the race. Ahead of him, he's got Zhirayr Gurunyan, who's whitewashing this race at the moment. 9.5 seconds clear of Justin Welbeck. Zhirayr Gurunyan just hot lapping this at the moment. No ballast on board either, so that's helping a huge amount. 10 seconds clear now. I mean, Justin Welbeck is fending off William Foyle at the moment, who's caught back up to Justin on this lap. Not giving up just yet on that 2nd place is William Foyle. Calms down a little bit in the battle behind. Here we go. Can William Foyle get a good run on Justin? That Link seems to be getting the better hand on the start to mid part of the straight. The VW will come into its own later down the straight. Oh, and William Foyle working those tyres really, really hard around that corner. Just tied onto the back of that blue Lincoln Co. Takes more curb. Gets a good run through that corner, but has to turn sharper into the next corner. And that got Justin away from William a little bit through there. That was a good line through that corner from William as he gets back onto the rear end of Justin. He will take a late entry now. Comes wide and then in to take a good entry into this corner. Justin wasn't so good through that corner, and William Foyle will try the outside. Trail breaks into there to keep hold of the rear end. Late exits coming out the carousel. There's not many overtaking opportunities on this track, as you can see. The real big opportunity is not turn 1, but turn 2 and turn 3. Maybe Williams should have hung on to that, waited for turn 2. And it's a slow down penalty for Welbeck. I hope that's a legit penalty that we're seeing there. And not one of those false ones, because that would really stir things up. It looks like one of those false notifications. I hate it when Raceroom does that. But we're looking at Lee Horne again, who has got his way past Roy Plummer and Fraser Rostens. And is into 7th place within 3 positions of Ben Walker. He's the guy he needs to catch, but he's got a little bit of work to do to catch up with Jeff Purkis and Jakobsen. He can do it, he's got the pace to do it, but he's got drivers behind him to worry about in Roy Plummer, Jamie Dory, who, by the way, credit to him today, not giving up at all. Jeff Purkis right behind Alexander Jakobsen. Purkis 6th place. It's been a very mediocre meeting for Jeff Purkis. Mid-pack, but just racking up the points. William Foyle flashing his lights to say, get a move on, Justin. Look who's catching us up. Ben Walker is putting in a shift in this race. Not fastest man on the track, would you believe? Zhirayr Gurunyan with a 1:29.8, the fastest lap we've seen all night long. 12.8 seconds clear of the battle for 2nd place, which is now a 3-way battle for 2nd place. Ben Walker is getting ever so closer to William Foyle with 2 minutes to go. He might have a chance to go for a podium in these dying moments of the race. Lee Horne back there is broken away from the battle for 8th place, which is nearly a 3 wide situation. Jamie Dory on the outside. It was 3 wide. Oh, really early braking from Roy Plummer. Jamie Dory, oh dear, and Roy Plummer goes over. Looks like that curb's affected more than just the Cupra. But we got to get back with this battle. Fraser Austin shoves it up the inside of Jamie Dory. Through the S's, Jamie Dory will have the upper hand. Will he be able to get back? No, he won't. He'll have to slot back behind Fraser Austin. I imagine at this point Jamie Dory's quite afraid of those curbs. But Fraser Austin gets into 8th place. Great battling from them too. Jeff Perkis right behind Jakobsen still. Ben Walker has latched onto the back of William Foyle, who's dropped away a little bit from Justin Welbeck in the Lincoln Co in front. Into turn 1. Ben Walker will have one more lap to try and get by. Zhirayr Gurunyan next in the keyhole now, so it will be the last lap. Ben Walker will want this extra position for an extra leap of points. It'll help him in his battle against Lee Horne, who has been outscoring him considerably today, with the exception of race 2, but it wasn't that much of a points difference between them in race 2, as Lee Horne finished 2nd. And Ben Walker won the race. But it appears Ben Walker isn't quite close enough to make a move. His last opportunity, you've got to say, will be the carousel, unless William Foyle makes a mistake at this point. Lee Horne is real close to Jeff Perkis. This might be a position gained for Lee Horne. Got to keep an eye on Ben Walker. Lee Horne makes his way past Jeff Perkis, a vital position in the championship for Lee Horne. William Foyle, 3rd at the moment. Ben Walker might not have seen that Lee Horne's gained the position on Perkis. It's a good run through Thunder Valley for Ben Walker. Zhirayr Gurunyan, by the way, our winner of race 1, race 2. Race 1 and race 2, so well done to him. It's a shame we didn't see him crossing the checkered flag there. I do apologise. Justin Welbeck takes 2nd place, with William Foyle in 3rd place. Hangs on in front of Ben Walker. Alexander Jakobsen comes through in 5th, with Lee Horne in 6th place with a final move on Jeff Perkis in the S's, who finished 7th. Jamie Dory gets a decent race out there. 8th place for him, with Fraser Austin in 9th. Matthew Addy finishes 10th. Neil Craven 11th, and Jonas Lienberg last of the runners in 12th. As Roy Plummer retired on the final lap of the race, might have been too many instant points. Such a shame for him. But we'll give him the honours. Zhirayr Gurunyan is your race winner, and in fact, I'm going to give him driver of the day. He didn't have a good race 2, no he didn't. But race 1 and race 3, you just cannot dominate the field like he did. Unbelievable driving from him, especially in this race, finishing clear by about 12 seconds. Brilliant drive from the Ukrainian. So that has been the Nxtgen Powermax Racing Season 19 WTCR League on Raceroom. Tonight's winners were Zhirayr Gurunyan in race 1, Ben Walker in race 2, Zhirayr Gurunyan in race 3. Catch us in a week today for the Ningbo round 8. We have 3 rounds to go and 9 races to go. We're now in single figures left to go. It's all hottening up. It's a 3-way battle for the championship between Zhirayr Gurunyan, William Foyle, and Zhirayr Gurunyan, Lee Horne, and Ben Walker. You can catch us tomorrow broadcasting the Crest Autosport DTM 2020 opening round, round 2 of the overall championship, which is live from 10 to 9 tomorrow UK time, 9 in the evening, 2100 hours. And that is coming live from Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit, so do tune in for that. Otherwise, if you're here for Nxtgen, we'll see you next week for round 8 at Ningbo. Thank you very much for watching.